What's logic have to do with love? When I say logic and love, those sound like two opposites, right? Those can sound like two things like black and white. Logic and love, that can sound like a win and a loss. When I say logic and love, that can sound like a peak and a valley. And I think that's the point. Now, I'm going to make the case a little bit more on this particular episode today. Is going to be more focused on how logic can empower love, right? But I want to also know there are people out there that maybe a little love could empower their logic too. But I think, again, the reason I'm speaking to certain people is a lot of us, again, we don't see what's logic got to do with love, but we still want to love. We still want to love people. We're dating. We're out here looking for a mate, looking for somebody to spend the rest of our life with. And that's not bad. That is not bad. That is important. So we're looking for someone to spend the rest of our life with, right? And this is a big task. This is no small feat. When you're looking for somebody to spend the rest of your life with, you're trying to find what that means to a lot of people. What it means to me is that, you're like my best friend, trusted confidant, can trust you to do anything. We got our, us against the world kind of stuff. But also, not only do you got that trust, but I got to have that lust for you. I got to, my girlfriend, I want to, I want to cuddle up, next to her. I want to touch some of those elbows. I want to, sometimes I sleep with that lady and, when we're sleeping at night, our elbows touch each other. That's what that lust, that, look at that. You kind of want to cuddle up naked. You got to have that unexplainable attraction, right? Now, this is the key to this, right? You need that unexplainable, ineffable, beautiful, magical, empty space, black, chaos, void. But you also need, that logic, that structure, that, do I have that trust there? Can I trust him? And can I lust him? So that's what I call trust and lust, right? And I think that if we want to have those together, that's why it's important to use logic. It's important to use logic because our feelings are biological. They're evolved. I think sex itself is like 2 billion years old. So just think about that for a minute. Contextually, the universe is approximately 14 billion, 4 billion years old. The Earth is approximately, 3.54 billion years old. And here we are, sex is 2 billion. Sex is a damn, sexual activity isn't quite physics, isn't quite the Big Bang, but damn, it started some things. So that's important to us. Sex is important. Now, that works differently for men and women, but it's all part of the same whole. It's all part of that interconnected, isness to which there is no word to really describe all of it because there's something outside all of it. But what I'm saying is so we got to, if we want to have that trust and lust, we got to navigate within the facts, use logic to know that every, a feeling isn't a fact, but also be in a relationship where we like the feelings we're feeling with them. It's not just logical, like, oh, I can trust him. It's like, hey, I like this man. He makes me laugh. He makes me giggle. I, I don't just want to have him as a friend. I want to have him as a sex buddy. I want to, like, you got to have both of those. I want to have sex with you, and I trust you. I want you as a best friend and a lover. That's what I'm looking for. That's what a lot of people are looking for when they're looking for a partner, when they're dating. dating and mating. And so I think that's where we're at. Now, this is where logic comes in. Because if you're out there just seeing where it goes, you're out there just seeing what happens, just dating, just unintentionally dating, on apps, swiping different apps, going on a lot of dates just because they ask you out on a lot of dates, or just because a lot of girls will let you buy them dinner, or because a lot of guys will buy you drinks and dinner, you know. Either way, if it's not intentional, those feelings, that lust, will overtake and we will miss the red flags at the beginning that will be the reason that it ends in the end. So if we want that trust and lust together, we got to use logic, and using that logic, with some intention. Otherwise, if we're just going out rubbing genitals with everybody, just the neurochemistry of that, the biochemistry in your body of that, the hormones, you're just on a roller coaster. We're on a roller coaster, and a lot of guys out here, they're having sex, they're dopamine addicts. They've got to either, these dopamine addicts got to, either have a bunch of porn, some new porn. They got to have, they got to have sex all the time. They got to have sex with new women. They got to switch it up. They got to get the same woman to try more aggressive things. It's never enough. And then conversely, I see a lot of women out here just in casual relationships, just casually, giving her damn heart away, giving her soul away. They don't even know it. I'm not even religious. You don't got to see that, but I'm telling you, without all of that, when women out here catching feelings, having sex easier because they know, hey, I don't have to worry. Traditionally biology was there to say, hey, like, think before you have sex with this man. What if he gets you pregnant? What if the stigma of how people look at you, people will know you've slept with a lot of men, right? How is that different? And all of these things you would have to think about, if your mom saw you hooking up with him, if a sister, you no longer have to think about. And what that does is that lowers the threshold for a woman to let someone enter her. But once she gets that into her, there's hormones here. A woman is likely to get attached. And so that's how women end up attached to men that they never should have been. That are, that's why you end up attracted to that medium ugly man. And you end up giving him all your damn money. And you give him all your, you give him everything. You give him your heart. You have every sexual intercourse with them. Everything you want. And you still can't keep them. Right? It's not your fault. It's that you got hormonal in the beginning. You didn't have to think about those natural barriers, those questions you would have had to normally think about. Next thing you know, you're hooked and you're attached to a man that you're not having a baby with, admittedly, but you're giving your soul to. You're giving the keys to your heart to. So I think that's what happens. And that happens because we go into dating mindlessly. We go just off of feelings, and we don't use logic. We don't use the logic. We just go after, we think feelings are facts. We think feelings are measurable. We think we should trust them. When in fact, feelings should not always be trusted. Sometimes you feel hungry, you're not. Sometimes you feel horny, you're not. So that's the case. That's where I see things at now for men and women. And then, so what does logic have to do with that? What does logic have to do with love? What does logic have to do with love? Because while, I guess this is really it. We use logic to improve almost every aspect of our lives. I mean, look around you. Electricity, Ubers, the mathematics to make your home, the logic to have currency, and all of these things, right? Every aspect of our lives. But when it comes to love, we're somehow afraid that if we use logic, we will destroy the mystery, the magic. But that's not what using logic or sound science really does. I mean, using sound logic and great science, that adds amazement. That adds magic. The fact that we can realize, the magic that we grew from this DNA that evolved, that we're somehow related to a tree, and we can measure that, and that we can understand flight and air and put planes in the sky, and we can, it's magical. It's when we use this, we're able to feed and clothe people, more humans than ever before. And and before you hate on humans, just think of it as little babies. We're able to feed and clothe little babies more than ever before. That's nice. So don't be hating the babies. Okay? Babies are beautiful. And that logic and science, good logic or sound logic and sound science, those improve our life, right? Those add magic. They don't take away. But a lot of people are afraid to use logic with love because they're afraid it's going to take something away. Also, funny thing, those people end up using all kinds of dating apps to no avail. Usually we'll do it for 10 years, 15 years, swiping away, looking for love, looking for something that feels right, the whole time missing the point. So I don't think logic takes away from love, but a lot of people do, and that causes a lot of people to not even use it. But we've used logic to make amazing progress in almost every part of our lives by applying the sound logic, and we do that based on first premises supported by quality data. And with that data, we don't need necessarily, to have, I guess I would say it like this. When it's supported, sound logic, supported on, again, quality first premises and quality data, supported by those, that doesn't mean perfect data. Doesn't mean all the information. Matter of Aristotle says, the more I know, the more I know that I don't know. And the more we learn, the bigger the boundary of our ignorance grows. So sound logic and good data doesn't mean perfect data. Okay? And we don't have to have perfect data or understanding to have great logic and great data empower our lives. It doesn't have to be perfect to be great, right? Still serves us. For instance, we don't fully understand gravity, but what we do has helped us put men on the moon and satellites in the stars. We don't fully understand DNA, but what we do has helped us convict criminals and stop diseases from ending our lives. We don't fully understand the weather even, right? But what we do understand of the weather has given us precious minutes to evacuate before natural disasters. No, do we have all the data to predict when the tsunami, when the tornadoes come in? No. Do we have, but we don't need that. It doesn't have to be perfect to give great value in your life. And that's what logic and data, right? We can use sound logic and sound data, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but it's our best shot, right? It affords us amazing privileges, and it adds to the magic. It adds to the magic of existence, right? These things are beautiful. Now, we don't have to fully understand love to be able to use sound logic and empower lasting love in our life. Right? So just like all those other things, I want you to sit with that. We don't even need to fully understand love. What is love, man? Like we use the word love for so much. I love this pizza. I love my mother. I love my sports team. I love my wife. That's one word, but it means very different things. Very different things. And that's why it's important to realize, hey, we don't have to define things perfectly, because sound logic can empower love in our life even if we don't have a perfect understanding of love. Right? We don't have to perfectly understand it for logic and data to empower it. Right? We don't have to have all the data or all the logic. We can still use and collect, and there can be value as long as it's based on sound first premises and quality data, right? Which is not the feelings. Your feelings are not a good data point. No one's are. Because you see, the love that can make you feel that biological impulse to make love and to make sex, that kind of love, it doesn't have to be logical, right? That doesn't have to be logical. There is a certain sexual, just primal, urge to life that does not have to be logical. But if you want that spiritual love, if you want to have that connection deeply with someone, if you think about what that really is, that's connection on a lot of levels: intellectual, physical, spiritual, whether it's you have a lot of different things. You like to eat the same food, you have the similar values and goals. If you want to have that spiritual, that psychological, that great connection, that trust, that then you have to use logic with love. Because again, that you can make great sex with a lot of people, but you can make a great life with very few people. And that's how logic empowers love, right? Because the love that, not all love has to be logical. You can again make sex with a lot of people. But if you want that lasting love, if you want to have the love that lasts past the impulses and feelings, that is logical love. Thank you very much for listening. If you like that, please give me a review. Let me know what you think. Honest reviews appreciated. If you'd like more of this content, I would say go on over to logical.love. No .com, just logical.love. Join the newsletter there. We send out a lot of cool videos, tips, and tactics so you can date smarter with better logic and find that love that lasts.